Thanks, folks. Thanks for being here. This is a really fun concert. You are in for a treat. I promise to get you out of here by 7 o'clock, and we are going to play tons and tons of music for you in the next half hour. This is nicknamed the beginning band Informants. It's a tradition that started here at LOJ long before I was teaching here. Informants meaning we are in our own school, in the cafeteria, when for the rest of the concerts we will be elsewhere, like the high school auditorium or the high school gym. This is the only concert that we have here in the cafeteria. And it's also an informal concert, which is why we're all on the same plane and we have some lights on. And I'm also going to be kind of telling you a little bit about what the students are doing, what they've learned in these really, really fast couple of months that we've been starting our instruments. So sit back and enjoy. We are going to start by playing for you a couple of pieces that just use the first three notes that these students learned back in September, October. This first one you'll recognize, Au clair de la lune. Songs that we could perform for you. Another one is Mary Had a Little Lamb, but rather than playing for you the traditional Mary Had a Little Lamb, we have a fun tradition here. We play a song called Mary Had a Cool Lamb. Master their first three notes, and they move on to the first 5 notes, where we can play tons and tons of music with just 5 notes. So what you're about to hear is one of my favorite classic English carols called Good King Wenceslas. Now for an American folk song. This one, the songs start getting longer. You'll start to hear, rather than playing 4 and 8 measure pieces, they have to start putting more measures together. They also have to start learning how to connect many, many notes, multiple measures in one breath on these wind instruments, which is their next challenge. So this is Go Tell Aunt Rhody. This next piece comes from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. I'm sure you're aware of the fourth movement, the famous Ode to Joy melody. And they are going to play for you now. Ode to Joy, which only has 5 notes. That they have learned up to this point, or back in October at least. And this is Old MacDonald, which starts using 6 notes, I believe. I'll let the students rest for a second as I tell you. So as I'm sure you are aware, when we learn how to play a musical instrument, this is one of the most challenging things that a person can do. You have so much multitasking that you're doing, and you're using so much of your brain power, so much of your body all at once. So there's a lot to keep track of. So far, all the students have demonstrated to you is notes and rhythms, and combining those notes and rhythms. Very soon, we're going to start showing off our ability to do not just those elements of music, but also more. On this next piece, we have the chance to show you some spooky sounds. And the students are going to play a soundtrack, and you are going to imagine a shark sneaking up on you, and then something happens. This is called Shark. Favorite, but apparently it's a parent favorite. Now a folk song uses 7 notes, the first 7 notes. Remember, each note, new note that they learn, completely different fingering, completely different embouchure feeling in their face. So each new note we learn, they get quizzed on in class, on paper. Do you know the name of this note? Do you know the fingering for this note? Can you play this note? All of those things. This is called Crusader's Hymn. And so the music starts to get more difficult at this point in their method book. Rather than just playing notes in a scalar fashion, like one note that's right on top of or below the previous note, now they have to start doing skips and leaps. So that's actually a lot to comprehend when your muscle memory starts learning this pattern of notes. Now we have to jump around those notes. And you'll hear a good example of that in a Mozart melody that we are calling Star Search. Several years of teaching beginners, and I love this group because, as you can see, they are really good at following directions. It's almost spooky because you never get to see your kids in such good form. And I get to do this with them every single day, and it's such a joy. It's such a joy to work with 6th grade, 7th grade students that are just learning their instruments because light bulbs are going off every single day, and the rate of improvement is the fastest that it will ever be. And like I said, this is the hardest thing that they can do. After this, it's a lot easier. We're just building on those fundamentals. So it's so great to work with such a respectful group and full of talent. This next piece, so we've covered notes, rhythms, skipping notes, holding long phrases in one breath, and now you might realize they were just playing at one volume the whole time. But on our instruments, one of the next elements that we can introduce is dynamics and volume. So London Bridge is what we're going to play next, and you're going to hear them start to incorporate dynamics, different volumes. Start learning a little bit more theory in the book. I don't think I've given them any quizzes yet on vocab, but those are coming. They have a lot of Italian words to remember, a lot of theory to remember, because every piece of ink on a piece of sheet music is there for a reason. It has some sort of meaning. So we're just going to get into this next one. It's one of my favorite jazz tunes, A Tisket, a Tasket. Covered notes, rhythms, dynamics. The next step for these young musicians on their wind instruments is being able to control the pronunciation of their tonguings on their wind instruments, called articulations. So that means we can hit a note really hard, we can tongue it very softly and smoothly, and they have to control all that along with the dynamics and the rhythms and the pitch. So now in this next piece, which is shoe fly, you're going to hopefully hear them accent or emphasize certain notes. Okay, so now, up until this point, you may have noticed, if you have a great ear, the students are playing in unison. They have been playing in unison. They're all playing the same melody at the same time. Well, the next step in their development for their musicianship is being able to play in harmony. And so they have to hear their own note and be able to hold that pitch when another instrument right next to them is holding a different pitch. So for a lot of these instruments, that can be really difficult if you're hearing something, but you're being asked to play a different pitch. So they have to start using their ear more, and we're going to hear a piece that demonstrates some harmony. This is called Crown of Majesty, and it's a full-length piece. Everything that they're doing would be on a normal piece of music. Now we've reached our piece of music that showcases everything that the students have to do on a typical piece of sheet music. From this point on, every concert that they play, they're going to be playing different notes. They're going to be playing different rhythms. In the last piece, they played, they were homorhythmic, so they had different notes, but they were all playing the same rhythm. Now they're going to have different notes, different rhythms, so the part independence is getting harder, and that will continue to happen. But this next piece is called Fanfare for a Winter Celebration, and it showcases all the musicianship that we've learned in these first couple months on the instrument. It's very exciting. We hope you enjoy it. one more fun piece for you tonight. Before we do that, there's several people I want to thank. Back there on the drum set, providing extra percussion for us tonight, we have a 7th grader in intermediate band. That's Anderson Cook, ladies and gentlemen. The really old-looking trombone player in the middle. Can you stand up, please? He's not old-looking. Anyway. This is Mr. Kevin Rouse. This is the high school band teacher. You might have met him before, maybe not. And Mr. Rouse comes down to the junior high and has the opportunity to work with the 7th and 8th graders of the intermediate and advanced band. But this is his first time hearing the beginning band. Was actually today in our dress rehearsal, and he's sitting in with us tonight on bass trombones. We're very lucky to have him. And as much as I'd love to take credit for being the teacher of this group, I really could not do this without the support of the education assistants that are in the room a couple hours a day, really helping out. We have Laura Hess and Laura Remington here. Thank you to them. And of course, I need to say thank you to the hard work of the students for practicing, and thank you to you for putting up with their beginning sounds at home as they're learning, so thank you to all of you. After this last piece, I told the students this and they thought it was really cool for some reason. I said, your parents are going to clean up the cafeteria for you, and they thought that was really cool. So I need your help. All these chairs can be stacked on the chair racks in the back, but I'm supposed to tell you not to put not to rack them higher than 35 chairs. So there's a bunch of racks back there. If you could please just take 1 or 2 chairs, it will be really fast, I promise. And then if there's some brave parents, maybe parents that have done band stuff with older siblings, all of these music stands need to be folded over so that the bottom is on top, collapsed, and then put neatly on the stand racks. It's one of the first things I teach music students, how to put their stands on the rack correctly. We'll see how you do tonight. But if you can do that, that would really help us. We appreciate it. So, this was the beginning band informant. The next concert that this group has is a really fun day in February. Right now it's set for February 25th. It is subject to change, but I'm hoping that it will stay. This is when the beginning band gets to go on a field trip all day long, and they get to go to the 3 feeder elementary schools, and we call it the 6th grade tour, or the beginning band tour. And so they go around, they learn all new music, and they go to each of the 3 elementary schools on the north side, and they perform for the elementary kids. They love doing it, the elementary schools love hearing it, and it also helps us recruit for the next year's band. So I'll be sending out more information as that time gets closer, but I'll need about 5 parents to help out that day. Without further ado, we're going to end with a rock and roll piece called Rock the House. One, two.